Next, we're going to talk about Aftertouch. Aftertouch is fantastic. Another CS50 parallel. Aftertouch is you press down the keys, and then once you press down the keys, you can push the keys further down, and a modulation will occur that you define. It's super simple to operate. All you have to do is turn it on, which is the amount. I'm going to go into the positive here. Here we'll make it a little extreme. So if I'm playing and it's on and nothing's chosen, nothing can happen. But if we choose frequency 1, that's oscillator 1. Now the harder I press on the keys, the more the pitch of oscillator 1 is going to change. And it looks like my hands aren't moving, but I'm actually pressing to different degrees. So it's variable. It's not just you press it down and it clicks something on. The force of your pressure allows you to define how the modulation is going to take place. And that's really cool. We can do that with actually both oscillators. Right off the bat, I'm sure you can tell there's all kinds of performance-related aspects that you could imbue to any performance by setting this. And the pitches are variable, like if we're modulating the frequency, by how much the amount is. So like we could just do it so it was like, there's a whole step. So you could do it for, any sort of expressive thing, any sort of trill effect. It's really cool. That's a lot of fun. And I really like having one oscillator, it affecting one oscillator and not the other, because then you get interesting chorusing effects. So yeah, there's about an octave there, so you can do. Which sounds really cool. That's really cool. That's super fun to do. I could sit and do it all day. Even more fun, or at least as much fun, or some amount of fun in comparison, is the LFO amount. That is the same as either turning the mod wheel up or, having the initial amount up. How hard you press is the amount of LFO that will be applied to what you have the LFO applied to. Right now we have it, let's see, on a triangle wave applied to the amp. So if I'm playing and then I press hard, and you can do it. So like, let's do it to pitch of oscillator 1. So there's all kinds of really cool expressive things you can do with that. Let's apply it to both. And then when you start thinking about, okay, I'm going to control the LFO amount, and the LFO amount is going to be in the audio range, and it's going to be controlling, the frequency of oscillator 1, which is in sync. So then, let's see what that sounds like. Just kind of a distorty sound. Yeah, by setting the frequency, we can choose the effect we want. But yeah, that's probably maybe not the most exciting example. But you have that ability. Wherever you can direct the LFO, you have the ability then to trigger it using the Aftertouch. So it's the filter. Yeah, you could whip out the sample and hold, hitting the filter if you want to, just by pushing harder. And of course, amp. You can create, let's create an amp effect. Oh, that's not where it's going to happen. In this particular instance, we can turn the envelope amount down and control the amp entirely from Aftertouch. It helps turn the envelope down so you can really hear the effect. So that's really cool. And of course, what modulation source would be complete without the inclusion of the filter? Let's turn it way down here. So you have the ability to control the amount or the lack of it. So you could do it the backwards way. By the harder you press, the more the filter closes. So that's cool. And of course, you can do it with a high pass. So you can take the high pass away. You could have a really high passy sound. That is a very high passy sound. And then you could take it away by how hard you press. That's probably too much. So you can bring the cutoff point down to a place where it's less high pass. And you can do both at once. And that is also not polyphonic, so anything you're holding up here, you're able to control, which is, you know, if you wanted it to be polyphonic, you'd be all like, oh, why isn't it polyphonic Aftertouch? Polyphonic Aftertouch is complicated and hard to use. In this instance, you have the ability that, like, you can actually play much more complex chords. This is not a complex chord, but it makes it simple when you can actually activate it somewhere else. Anyway, Aftertouch is really powerful when used in tandem with all of the other modulation sources, including the polymod. And I mean, let's see. Yeah, so I'll right away we go into uncharted territory of interesting timbres. But yeah, the Aftertouch, when used in tandem with all the other functionalities, can create some really incredible sounds. And the amplifier envelope that we have going on here, which is, I'm pretty sure after all of my videos, you must have a pretty good grasp about how the amplifier envelope works. Basically, it's how the sound changes in loudness over time based upon your settings. Envelope amount allows this, I say envelope, I'm sorry. There's an English person going, why are you saying envelope? But with their accent. So you have the ability to control the change of volume over time. And you can control it with the envelope amount, which is really functional for the Aftertouch. There's also velocity, so how hard you or how fast you hit the keys controls how loud they can be. So that's convenient. It's basically controlling how much of the envelope amount is being used to create the envelope. But yeah, so that's a nice feature for people who play expressively and want their playing to change in that way over time. So that, in combination with Aftertouch, you could do interesting combinations of having it control the amp. Let's have it stop controlling this. And then have the velocity on. But anyway, so those two functionalities, obviously the amplifier envelope is incredibly important, but Aftertouch allows an incredible amount of expressivity and control over some of the other functionality that you're actually doing while you're playing without having to touch anything or do anything. And it makes, as we saw, some really cool sounds.